Hello folks, I'm John Myrie and welcome to the Wisconsin Northland Outdoors. On this week's show we have reports for you from CC down at Hayward Bait and Bottle, and then we talk ice fishing with Hayward Area Fishing Guide Noah Glitto. Lots to cover on this week's show, all coming up right after these messages.
Finally hit the trails again with the Polaris Holiday Sales Event at Hayward Power Sports. We have remaining 2024 and 2025 Polaris snowmobiles offering up to $3,000 rebate or a 0% financing for up to 60 months or a 2-year limited warranty. We have a wide range of sleds from the economy price Polaris 550 Voyager LXT 2-Up to the unstoppable factory turbocharged Polaris Indy VR1 Boost. They'll go fast, so don't get left out in the cold. Hurry to Hayward Power Sports, just 10 minutes east of Hayward on Highway 77.
The Hayward Lakes Visitors and Convention Bureau in Sawyer County, Wisconsin welcomes you to our Northwoods hometown. No matter the season, no matter the activity, you'll always be surrounded by our great outdoors. What more could you ask for in a vacation destination? Woods, waters, world-class events. Contact us for information on lodging, dining, attractions, events, trail conditions, and more. Order your free vacation guide and start planning your getaway today. Visit us at haywardlakes.com or call 1-800-724-2992.
Riding along in my automobile.
Bumping into things unexpectedly? Make your first choice for collision repair. Ernie's Auto Body, featuring the most advanced collision repair facility in Northwest Wisconsin. With a state-of-the-art spray, bake-down, draft paint booth for that better-than-new finish, laser technology for precision frame alignment, loaner cars available, computerized estimates, written guarantees, and documented unmatched customer service, the clear choice is Ernie's Auto Body, south of Hayward on Highway 63 and Nursery Road, where quality is no accident.
Lynn's Custom Meats and Catering welcomes you to stop by for their great lunch menu. And while you're there, Lynn's also has a great selection of custom cut meats and sausages, as well as many varieties of snack sticks, jerky, fresh cheese curds, and much more. Lynn's is open Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 5:30 and 9 to 4 on Saturdays. Lynn's Custom Meats and Catering in Hayward.
Today, anglers fish longer. Today, anglers fish harder. Today, anglers rely more than ever on their electronics. It all comes down to catching more fish, and today, anglers rely on Amped Outdoors lithium batteries, period. Visit ampedoutdoors.com today to power your outdoor experience.
We're recording this week down at Hayward Bait and Bottle, and I got a new person in here. We got CC in here, and this will be your first time on here for you, right?
Yeah, it is. It's my first time here. I've been here for a couple months now, so it's been going good.
Yeah, first time on the radio for us. So let's talk about what's going on out there. You know, we had a bunch of snow, and then we got cold, and we got more snow. We made some ice. I don't know how well we're making ice with a little bit more snow on top of it right now. That's going to slow down things a little bit, but we do have some good reports. Not a lot of ice. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing between, like around Nelson area, I'm hearing between 4 and 6. Flowage, I'm hearing between 5 and 6 inches. It kind of varies depending on how big the lake is, how deep it is, how much snow coverage landed after that first freeze. But we're looking at least safe to walk out there with your stool or bucket and set a tip up and hang out for a few hours.
Well, you know, and they say 4 inches of good clear ice, so you want to look at the ice we got, because there's a lot of lakes out there where you've got maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 2.5 inches of clear ice, and then the rest of that extra 2 inches or so is that white stuff that was frozen snow, basically.
Right. We definitely, got to be careful of that, because that could also lead to where the springs are at. It's not fully frozen, but it's being hidden by that snow. We do have, always recommended the spud bars and the safety spikes when you go out, stab the ice a little before you make it any further past the shoreline, just to be safe. Yeah,
it's heavy spud bar and hit it good and hard, whack it every time you go out, or every few feet, check that and find yourself a trail that's safe. Recommend, when you go out there, we're always talking about that, ice picks, and have them around your neck, don't have them in your pocket. And I always tell people is that the float suits are the best invention out there, because if you do fall through, and I know lots of people that have, you float right on top of the water, which makes it a lot easier than trying to drag your legs up full of water on a big heavy pair of snowsuit or something so you get out easier.
Right. No, I agree with that. Definitely keep those safety spikes around your neck, not in your pocket. And if you can't get a float suit, we always have those compact life preservers here in the shop too.
Yeah, anything when you're out there, because that, we talk about safe ice, but in reality, there is no such thing as safe ice. You never know what you got out there until you check it and make sure.
Exactly. Safety is always the number one thing when you're out on the ice, no matter what time of year it is.
Let's talk about the fishing. I mean, you hearing much on the fishing. The first thing people usually go after is a walleyes, and it's usually a tip-up bite. Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing. We're selling a lot of those walleye suckers down here right now. So I've been hearing a lot of people going on Nelson out on the float. We had a couple people say they're going out today. They went out yesterday, so we're kind of waiting to hear back from them, too, see what they're catching.
Well, and it's always going to be a shallow bite, it seems like. Yep. And that's going to be the safest ice to get out on, is that closer to shore on the weed edge and stuff. But the one thing, too, I think that makes tip-up fishing so effective is that if you try fishing them with a hook and line, any noise, boy, can really spook those fish, especially first ice. And when they're only, 6-7 feet below your feet, you walk around and just that noise. I mean, I've watched how spooky these fish are with like forward-facing sonar, live scope, and these fish can get really, really spooky. Any little thing can scare them away quick.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And fishing in that low light, dark period, too, really helps because then they're calmed down. There's not a lot of people on the lake. You can sit out there with your tip up or your jig and easily reel one in that calmed, quiet area for them.
Well, we'll start seeing, as the ice progresses here on some of the big lakes, we'll start seeing deeper action out there. People will move a little bit deeper. And once you get some snow cover on the ice and deeper, the fish get a little less spooky, I think.
Right. No, definitely. They're more willing to come up for that quick little jig there or sit in, seeing them in the live scope and hopefully getting him to take the bait.
And we mentioned earlier snow on the ice and stuff too, is that if you got the option and you want to check it, because usually sometimes the ice conditions under a little bit of snow is not as good as where it's clear on top. Mm-hmm. But if you've got the option, you find a little ridges with snow out there, a little area with snow, you're better off maybe to sit on that if the ice is safe, because that kind of insulates your sound and your movements and everything else. Because these fish, if you can see through the ice, they can see up the other way.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like a mirror out there. You got to make sure that you're sitting in a spot where you're not going to have to get up every 2 seconds and check that rod or check that tip up, Make sure you can just get them all at once.
Well, there'll be some good fishing out there for northern pike too, and we're encouraging people to keep some northerns on some of the lakes. Mm-hmm. You got a 10 bag limit on a bunch of different lakes, and northerns are actually very good eating, especially in the wintertime here.
Yeah, they are. I hear a lot of people really like frying them up as soon as they get them. I know they're in the shallows right now, definitely, along with those walleyes. They are chasing the small fries around too right now. So hopefully a small fry will lead you to a big fry,
Yeah, well, yeah, northern pike are great game fish, especially with tip-ups, and it's a lot of fun out there. And this is the time of year when you got a chance of catching the bigger ones. And as we get going here, especially on some of the smaller, shallower lakes, there'll be some good panfish action, especially for bluegills.
Yeah, those bluegills are definitely going to be picking up here soon too. I've been hearing that's what, along with the walleyes, that's what people are really getting excited for, because I've seen in the wintertime big old 10-inch bluegills coming up out of the ice from my friend's fishing shack.
10-inchers, I could believe, but I don't know about bigger than that.
Again, hey, fisherman's tales,
I know that. Anyway, let's talk about a couple other things about, all that snow has really made it harder to get around too out there, especially if you're in the woods. And we're wrapping up now as we're talking here. They're wrapping up, as it airs here, we're wrapping up the end of the special doe season, but the late archery season that'll stay open for quite a while yet. And if we have moderate temperatures.
Hunting season for bows is definitely going to keep going here for a little bit. I believe until January 4th is for us regular folks up here. If you're in that metro unit, it goes until January 31st, but you'll definitely have some time, especially for that small game too, to continue getting a couple more hunts in, fill the freezer, whatnot, fill the trophy wall before that the end of this year.
Yeah, just have some fun out there and enjoy the outdoors. And there's a lot of options out there available yet. I know down here at the shop, you guys are pretty much geared up for just about anything. I mean, you got all the ice fishing gear out there. A lot of new stuff this year, too. We talk about that.
Yeah, we got a lot of new stuff in this year. New jigs. We've got some new rods in. We've got a couple new ice shacks, little ones that you can, sled style ones that you can just pull with you out there. Lots of new changes coming into the shop, too, which is really cool. A lot of people are seeing it already as we're working on it.
Yep. You know, and for the late hunting seasons, I mean, you've got a good selection of everything from guns to archery equipment, everything else.
Yeah. We've got all of our ammo and all of our arrows and everything you need for the crossbows, the muzzle loader. That's kind of getting limited, but that's such a niche thing now. But we do have some stuff for those people who want to do that muzzle loader stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, let's, as we get going here into the year and we get past Christmas and, talk about Christmas, they got a lot of little things down here at the shop that make good stocking stuffers, like individual lures and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. We've got those individual lures. We've got those specialty beaver dam tip-ups now, like the honey hole one, the bush light one. And then we also have some new ice fishing mystery tackle boxes as well that we just introduced for this time of year.
A lot of interesting stuff there, and I know as we get going into the new year, when it comes here a few weeks away, there'll be more and more sports shows. A lot of people will be thinking toward open water fishing and gearing up for that. So, boy, we'll start talking about that pretty soon on the shop here, show here, because I know the shop will shortly after the year will start thinking about that for setting up for spring too.
Oh yes. There are so many things to come. I can't wait for you guys to see it. We've got a lot more summer stuff coming here, a lot more springtime stuff already here, just waiting to get put out. We're ready for it all.
Well, thank you a lot, CC. It's been interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Well, folks, we need to take a break right now and hear from some of the fine sponsors that make this show possible every week. And when we come back, we'll be talking ice fishing with Hayward Area Fishing Guide Noah Glitto. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Hunters and anglers, Hayward Bait and Bottle is your one-stop sport and bottle shop in Hayward. They have a huge selection of ice fishing gear, including portable shelters, power augers, electronics, beaver dam tip-ups, ice rods, and just about anything you'll need for ice fishing. They also have archery supplies, bows, crossbows, muzzle loaders, ammo, and much more to help you enjoy the outdoors. While you're there, check out the bottle shop for a full selection of beer, wine, and liquor, too. Hayward Bait and Bottle is your one-stop sport and bottle shop. There's no time like the present to explore Hayward, Wisconsin, one of the Midwest's most popular vacation destinations. With crystal clear lakes for water sports and fishing, miles of trails for riding snowmobiles, ATVs, cross-country skiing, hiking, and mountain biking, this area is buzzing with activity year-round. Combined with charming local shops and a variety of Northwoods dining options, Hayward is certain to offer both adventure and relaxation for everyone. Plan your trip today and find everything you need on the Hayward Area Chamber of Commerce website. From events and attractions to local dining, shopping, and lodging, visit haywardareachamber.com and start your next adventure now.
Hayward Power Sports asks, can you hear the cool, crisp air calling your name? Make sure you have the perfect companion, a new Can-Am side-by-side or ATV from Hayward Power Sports. We still have a solid selection of new 2025s with rebates up to $4,000 or 0% financing for 36 months. Looking for Can-Am dominance at a value price? Check out a 2025 Can-Am Defender DPS HD7. With a $1,000 rebate, it's priced at just $13,899. As a matter of fact, all remaining 2025 Can-Am Defender HD7s offer a $1,000 rebate, while the HD9s and HD10s have $2,000 rebates. Or be the first to have the latest and greatest Defender yet, the new for 2026 Can-Am Defender Limited HD11 with a dominating 95 horsepower and an awesome 10.25-inch touchscreen with GPS navigation. Answer the call with the new Can-Am from Hayward Power Sports, just 10 minutes east of Hayward on Highway 77.
Certain restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details.
When you need light for outdoor activities, you want a compact light that does not strap to your head? Meet DEX FingerLight at fingerlight.com. FingerLight's patented Grip-to-Night ring fits any finger, keeping your hands free to fish, navigate, and handle gear. With 3 light modes, it's durable, waterproof, and rechargeable. Invented for surgeons, but developed by outdoorsmen. DEX FingerLight is faster and easier than a headlamp. For a limited time now, get 15% off at fingerlight.com using promo code Northland15 at checkout. Welcome back to another segment of this week's Wisconsin Northland Outdoors, and this part of the show is brought to you by the Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau. For more information on lodging and vacationing here in the Hayward Lakes area, check out their website at haywardlakes.com. Well, folks, you know, one of the guys that get on here from time to time is Hayward area fishing guide Noah Glitto. Had a chance to catch up with Noah the other night on his cell phone, talk about ice fishing, and a lot more. Noah, you know, we're past the open water season now. We've got some ice on the lakes, but it's still pretty early in the season.
Yeah, it's still a little early here. Some of the smaller lakes, you'll see them frozen over, and now that we got some snow cover on them, it's very difficult to see if the lakes are thick enough, so be careful. Make sure you got a buddy system, bring a rope, use your spud bar to check if you're going to go out, you know, if you're going to venture out. But, you know, these lakes should freeze up pretty good here the next week or two. And it's a sad end of the open water season. The boats are put away, and we'll be breaking out our ice fishing stuff.
Well, you know, and you made a point there, too, when you got that snow, some of those smaller lakes that did freeze over and you had that bunch of snow that, not the big snowstorm, a lot of that, you know, it pushed the ice down on some of the lakes, but then they refroze and they got that last few inches of snow on top of it. It is very difficult to see exactly what you've got out there, and I think the bigger lakes are going to freeze with better clear ice, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, is that our bigger lakes, the ones that have some pretty good fish in them, like Round Lake and Chippewa Flowage and Grindstone and Coudray, those lakes, I hope that they freeze up good. We get good clear ice to start, and we get a good solid amount of ice before we get any snow on them, so we can have safe travel all year.
You know, when it comes to early fishing, you know, it's up here, it seems to be a lot of tip-up stuff, and I don't know if that's just because, I think it's because a lot of it is that when you have that early ice and that ice is pretty thin and those fish are up shallow water, they get pretty spooky underneath the ice. And if you try fishing them with the jig rod and stuff, sometimes it doesn't work all that well because, you know, they hear what's going on over the top of them and they move away, I think.
I've really noticed that in the shallow water. Something we've noticed with the forward-facing sonar is you can see those fish from 100 feet away, and you get within 70 feet of them walking around on the ice, they'll hear you and they'll swim away. So tip-up fishing is got that advantage of you set it and forget it. You know, you kind of watch it from a distance and you're not walking around, not stomping around. A lot of guys, when they're sitting and jig fishing, you know, they can't help but shuffle their feet around, or they're playing music on their phone or something. You know, too much noise, those fish, you know, they might get within range of you, but they're never going to come in.
Well, you know, it was interesting, too. I mentioned this on a previous show, but one of the guides up in Canada told me they were filming a show with a TV show, and they kind of messed around, and they were catching walleyes, and they decided to put a weight on a GoPro camera and drop it down, and the walleyes were like 26, 27 feet. And when they got back, it was kind of amazing because they could hear themselves talking in the boat. The GoPro recorded their voices 27 feet down over the top of them. You know, they could hear it up in the... So basically, yeah, any noise up there can make a difference. And if it's been real quiet for a long time, like first ice, you know, that making a lot of noise on the ice is not a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And something that a lot of guys forget is how fast sound travels through water. I don't know what the ratio is compared to, you know, the regular air, but sound travels through water a lot faster than it does in air. That's something that we often forget about, you know.
Well, you know, sound travels at least 5 times faster in water than it does in air, and a lot farther, and it's pretty amazing. You know, people don't know that, but, you know, I was a sonar tech in the Navy, so sound travels very, very fast in the water, and it travels very, very far. So, you know, it's a lot of things, and, you know, setting tip-ups is probably one of the easiest ways, because once you set it and you back away from it, it's quiet. It's kind of a stealth mode out there for fishing.
Yeah, it's pretty effective. If it's something that you don't have any tip-ups, you should maybe pick 1 or 2 up and give it a try. It's definitely worth it.
When do you start looking at trying to catch the panfish? I mean, panfish action can be good early too, shallow, but there you have to, you know, have mostly jig fishing them, and you got to be kind of careful and when you're out there, not make a lot of noise and move around a lot.
Yeah, I start fishing panfish as early as I can get out versus going after walleyes. It's a little more rewarding to go out on the ice and catch, you know, 25, 30 panfish versus going out and catching 1 walleye, you know, in an evening. So I do a lot of pan fishing, and it's a lot more fun for, getting out with a group of friends and catching fish. Everybody's going to be catching something. But I start fishing them panfish as early as I can get out there, and I start running trips pretty much as soon as the ice is safe.
A lot of guys think that most of the crappies and bluegills move out into that deeper water and that deeper basin, but there are a lot of them that do, but there's usually going to be some fish up shallow, and it comes to picking the lake more than it does where the fish are going to be shallow or deep, because if you have a lake that, say, gets 15 feet deep, they're going to be out there in that 15 feet, but you'll probably have good ice on there too, versus where if you're looking at fish that are out in a lake that's got 50 feet of water and they're out there in 35 feet, that ice is probably not going to be safe out there yet. So pick your smaller lakes and your smaller ponds, and that's where you're going to find your best panfish action, I think.
Yeah, a lot of my best action is on some of these smaller lakes where you're walking in. They don't get very deep. And the fish are pretty easy to locate when you're able to get out there and, drill some holes around. It's typically pretty easy to get on some of those fish. And that's really the beauty of the early ice fishing, is you can get out there on those smaller lakes.
Well, folks, we need to take it another break and hear from even more of the fine sponsors that bring this show to you every week. When we come back, we'll have the second part of that talk we had with fishing guide Noah Glitto. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Hey folks, come on over to Hayward Ace Hardware and check out the area's largest selection of firearms, ammo, and accessories. We carry top brands like Browning and Sig Sauer, and we have a great selection of the newest and hard-to-find models. We've got a large selection of ammo with more coming in daily. If you need a scope, we carry great brands like Leupold, Hawk, and EOTech, and we'll even mount it and bore-sight it for you too. We even sell suppressors and silencers. And don't forget to check out our Guns of the Week. Huge discounts on a variety of pistols, rifles, and shotguns that change every week. So stop on in to Hayward Ace Hardware, your firearms superstore. Hayward Ace Hardware, Highway 63 North in Hayward, or give us a call at 715-634-8700.
Care for the animals with help from Hayward Feed and Seed. They offer deer corn, mineral blocks, and their famous Big Buck blend. They can also satisfy the hunger of the other animals in your life with a massive variety of dog and cat foods, along with other pet foods and large animal feeds. Plus, they have an awesome assortment of cat and dog toys, along with heated water bowls and plenty of warm, cozy bedding for all the animals in your life. Open at 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday. See the experts at Hayward Feed and Seed. Hayward Animal Hospital is a full-service medical and surgical hospital featuring on-site laboratory, digital and dental x-ray, in-house pharmacy, and online store. Dr. Ostrander has 40 years of experience dealing with illnesses, injuries, surgery, and dentistry. Hayward Animal Hospital offers urgent care appointments and emergency surgery daily. Please call early in the day for these appointments. They open at 8 a.m. Hayward Animal Hospital is located 1 mile east of Hayward on Highway B. Call 715-634-8971.
Hey folks, the Log Cabin Store in Northwoods Beach on Highway K between the Big Lakes has groceries, ice, beer, liquor, and pop, and now has all new tackle and bait supplies. All current antiques and household items are now on sale and all must go to make room for the sport shop. That's at the Log Cabin Store in Northwoods Beach between the Big Lakes. Welcome back to the last segment of this week's Wisconsin Northland Outdoors. And folks, we're going to jump right back into the second part of that talk we had with fishing guide Noah Glitto. The other thing too is we don't want to overlook is the northern pike fishing. We do have some pretty liberal bag limits on a handful of lakes up here where it's 10 fish. And they're pretty easy to catch on the tip up. They're very good table fare eating, and it's a fun fish to go after because you can get a lot of flags and tip ups action going from the pike out there in a lot of lakes.
Yeah, a lot of times the tip ups save the day because if the pan fishing is slow, and we're only getting a couple here and there, those flags start going off in the pike. The pike are just nonstop action when they're going, and they go just about every single day. So it's definitely fun to get to chase after the flags and wind them in. It's kind of primal, hand lining them in. It's something fun that a lot of people haven't done before, and just winding them in and fighting them, without a rod. It's fun, and then watching them fly up the hole, and you don't know what you got on when you got them. It's really an experience.
Well, actually, you get a chance. This is a time of year too when you got a chance at some of the bigger pike because A lot of people don't realize it, but there's a totally difference between little pike and big pike. And little pike tend to be more of a warm water fish. They'll stay in the weeds a lot more. And the big pike tend to be a cold water fish. They move out in that deeper water, and they'll out to that deeper drop off that outside weed edge, sometimes even suspend. But once you get into the early part of the year, or winter, and into the winter, they will move right up onto those weed edges, and actually pretty shallow water, and that's where you got a better chance of catching one of the bigger pike in the lake.
Yeah, we've got a decent population of those bigger pike. We do get some into the 30s and into the mid 30s every now and then. That does happen, but we get lots of those fish in that 20 to 25 inch range, which are the perfect size for pickling. If you're into pickling pike, it's becoming more and more popular each year. Something that, guys will try it and go, holy smokes, I got to start doing this myself. I feel bad. I've been throwing these fish back in the lake for years. I didn't know what I was missing.
Well, no, and again, we should talk about ice safety, because the actual fact is there really is no such thing as fully safe ice. You would be careful. You go out there anytime and make sure you know where you're going. And if you're going to keep going to one spot on a lake, you get yourself a path out there that you're going out. After you test the ice, you can kind of know where you're going. And it becomes a thing where you need to really take a spud bar and check that ice when you're going out this time of year.
Yeah, it's no joke. And even in some of the most experienced guys in the area we know of, a lot of guys have broken through, walking on the ice, or they got a little too ambitious with their four-wheeler or their snowmobile and broke through with a machine, and that's never fun, trying to get one of those machines out of the ice. It's something that even the experienced guys, make those mistakes. So if you're inexperienced with ice fishing, I would highly recommend you hire a guide if you're going to go out on one of these lakes early ice. And it's going to save you a lot of hassle, because they're going to know where it's safe, and it could save your life if you go venturing out somewhere that's not safe and you fall through and can't get back out. That's why those float suits are so important, because they'll float your body horizontally in the water, and it'll relieve the pressure so you can crawl back onto the ice. That's what those float suits are designed to do.
Well, and when you brought that up on the float suits, I'm a very big proponent of float suits, and I actually will wear a float suit from the early spring or the late fall guiding. I have different weight insulation suits, but they all have flotation in them, and I'll wear a suit in that late fall. I wear them in the wintertime. I won't go out on the ice without one, because, I've talked to too many people. I've seen too many demonstrations of it and how effective they are. And they're not hard to find, because just about every company out there now makes them. They're all good. It's your choice of which I know you pick one. You use one particular brand, right?
Yeah, I wear the Wind Rider float suit. They have two different models. They've got the Hayward series, and that's got a second layer of insulation that you can take out or put back in. If it gets really cold, you can put that insulation back in, or they've got just their regular float suit. They're very affordable. You can get one of these Hayward suits for, $300 to $500 depending on which one you want. I'd say that they're just as good, if not better. I've had my Hayward suit for 3 years now, and it's still holding up. I can't say the same for the other brands I've bought. When I bought them, they only last me a season. I fish more than just about anybody else in the area, and I'm bound to wear that stuff out, but I'm really surprised. I'm really happy with the Wind Rider suit.
Well, Noah, interesting stuff there. You want to give out your guide information for somebody looking for ice fishing guide this winter?
Yep, if you're looking to get out on the ice with someone who's going to get you on some fish and have some fun, you can get a hold of me on my website, noahglittoguiding.com, or you can text or call my cell, which is 612-616-6287.
Well, thank you for taking the time with us here, Noah.
Yes, sir.
Well, folks, we're about out of time for this week's show. I'd like to remind everyone out there that if you miss a show, you can always go to our website at wnoradio.com, and from there you can link through to our podcast. You can also find the show on Spotify and all major podcast channels. And also, if you're looking for information on vacationing and lodging here in the Hayward Lakes area, check out the Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau website at haywardlakes.com, or the Hayward Area Chamber site at haywardareachamber.com. And lastly, if you'd like more information on hiring a fishing guide when you're up here in the Hayward area, check out our website at wnoradio.com. We've got links to just about all the different guides and a lot of information in there on guides. We're out of time for this week's show, and we'll be back again next week with another interesting show for you. Thanks for listening.
Way up in the Northland where the recreation's great. So sit back, relax, kick off your shoes, sink in your easy chair. Come on along, listen with me, I'm gonna take you there to our Wisconsin outdoors, our Wisconsin outdoors.
This program has been produced and hosted entirely by Wisconsin Northland Outdoor Communications.